in the back.
If an American president loses more Americans over the course of 6 weeks than died in the entirety of the Vietnam War, does he deserve to be reelected?
So, yeah, we've lost a lot of people, but if you look at what original projections were, 2.2 million, we're probably heading to 60,000, 70,000. It's far too many. One person is too many for this. And I think we've made a lot of really good decisions. The big decision was closing the border or doing the ban, people coming in from China, obviously other than American citizens, which had to come in. Can't say you can't come in, you can't come back to your country. I think we've made a lot of good decisions. I think that Mike Pence and the task force have done a fantastic job. I think that everybody working on the ventilators, you see what we've done there, have done unbelievable. The press doesn't talk about ventilators anymore. They just don't want to talk about them, and that's okay. But the reason they don't want to talk, that was a subject that nobody would get off of. They don't want to talk about them. We're in the same position on testing. We are lapping the world on testing, and the world is coming to us. As I said, they're coming to us saying, what are you doing? How do you do it? We're helping them. So, no, I think we've done a great job. And one person, I will say this, one person is too many. Thank you all very much. Thank you. Thank you.
Why did Maryland have to go to South Korea to get 500,000 tests?
Now, to be clear about what we just heard, Trump is claiming that he deserves to be reelected despite presiding over more deaths in the Vietnam War, because at least we didn't lose as many lives as we would have if he did literally nothing at all. Now there's a campaign slogan. Seriously though, that's what the 2.2 million number is in reference to. It comes from an Imperial College London report from March 16th showing that if the disease was left completely unchecked, if we did nothing to stem the outbreak, that the likely number of deaths in the United States would reach 2.2 million people. In other words, we should re-elect Trump because, hey, at least he didn't just play video games all day. With that being said, if Trump had done nothing, at least that would have meant he also wouldn't have shipped 17.8 million tons of medical supplies to China on the same day that the WHO warned about limited amounts of personal protective equipment. At least he wouldn't have had FEMA come in and steal shipments meant for states so that the federal government could reallocate supplies at their own discretion. At least he wouldn't have fomented stay-at-home protests around the country, which have not only put individual Americans in danger by being at the protests themselves, but they're the reason that people like Georgia Governor Brian Kemp opted to reopen his state before cases were even close to declining, which will undoubtedly lead to a spike in new cases. So if Trump actually did nothing and let governors, the majority of whom are competent, do their jobs, then you know what? We probably would have ended up in a better position here. And of course, he quickly pivots to his so-called China ban, which, as we all know, worked out perfectly and saved the country, and now we have 0 cases and deaths. In reality, it is insane for Trump to tout a solution that clearly did not work. We have the most cases and deaths on the face of the earth, so when he points to the China ban as if it was some brilliant stopgap measure, it's like he doesn't know what's happened since then. And by the way, that ban wasn't actually a ban. It only applied to foreign nationals who'd been in China for 14 days prior, which still allowed a staggering 40,000 people to enter the country from China. So yes, Trump did take this measure, but he's sorely mistaken if he thinks that it was in any way as effective as he's making it out to be. From there, he goes on to tout the number of tests that are being conducted in the US, which Trump's been bragging are the most in the world. Only that's misleading because A, we have more people than most countries in the world, so the number of raw tests isn't an accurate measure in this case. And B, on a per capita basis, we don't lead the world. In fact, we're behind Italy, Germany, and even Canada in terms of administering tests. And in a country that leads the world in coronavirus cases and deaths, that is something we should have figured out months ago. Probably somewhere around the time that Trump was claiming that it would miraculously disappear with the heat and that we should keep buying stocks. In fact, while our testing has remained steady at around 150,000 tests per day, experts have already said that before we can reopen the country, we need to be performing 500 to 700,000 tests per day, meaning more than 3 times what we're doing right now. So for Trump to point to yet another metric that the United States is woefully underperforming in as a way to defend himself, pretty much speaks volumes about his selling points here. The truth is that his handling of this outbreak is precisely why he shouldn't be re-elected. And polling indicates that Americans agree, because while governors have seen as much as 30-point swings upward in their approval ratings, including even people like Kentucky's Andy Beshear, who won by only a few thousand votes and now enjoys an 81% approval rating, Trump has seen his approval rating go up by less than 1 point, a negligible difference. Meaning that while politicians around the country are seeing their leadership rewarded, the fact that Trump cannot manage even one single point of added approval is a testament to the fact that Americans know he has failed at doing his job. And it seems that Trump knows this too, considering his best selling point right now is that, hey, we're better than nothing. Although at this point, even that is up for debate.